Kevin Durant's 9th signature sneaker features a nice mix of good materials and cushioning and has released in a lot of great colorways. Few of those have been as vibrant as this Birds of Paradise pair. Let's take a look. Hey all, what is up? Reese here. I've got a brand new sneaker pickup to show you. What we're looking at today is the Nike Zoom KD9 in the Birds of Paradise colorway. The colors listed on the box are clear jade and black, and these released on August 19th, 2016 with a retail price of $150. Now as we're going through this video, I'd love for you to leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about the KD9 and also how this colorway stacks up against the other versions of the shoe that have released so far. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And finally, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all of my latest videos. This is one of the very few KD shoes in my collection. I only have one other pair actually, and that's the KD7 in the Easy Money colorway. But when I first saw images of the KD9, I knew I'd have to pick up a pair. I love the design, and it was one of those things where I didn't particularly love any one colorway more than the others, and so I knew I wanted to pick up a pair at some point, but I wasn't too connected to any particular release, so I kind of decided to wait it out and see what I could get for a good deal. And I ended up getting an amazing price on these. I got these in early January on a Nike clearance sale, and they were only $75, which is half of retail, which is just a crazy price for a shoe like this. I love this colorway. It's really tropical and fun. Like I mentioned, it's the Birds of Paradise colorway, and I did some research. I couldn't find any great explanation for like the story behind the colorway, and maybe there wasn't much of one. I did read a lot that it might be somehow related to China, and specifically a trip that KD took to China in the middle of July, where he basically spent 5 days traveling around the country meeting with his fans. But that was about the biggest connection I could find. Regardless, I just think it's a really interesting look. I love the combination of the black with the jade or teal and then a volt on the upper, and I just think it's a really cool looking version of the shoe. Now as far as the KD9 is concerned overall, there are two kind of key aspects that you hear a lot about. The first is just the fact that it features Flyknit construction, and one thing that I really like is that unlike some other Flyknit basketball shoes that we've seen from Nike, this features just a true use of Flyknit. It does have nylon backing, but there's no glue or anything in there with the weave to help kind of stiffen it, like we saw with the Kobe 9 Elite, for example. And that's something where, while it does have the benefit of giving it better like structural integrity, which is important for basketball, you just lose out on some of the benefits of Flyknit. So this is kind of the best of both worlds, where you still get the benefits of the material, but that nylon backing helps it from stretching too much and kind of helps keep the shape of the shoe. The other thing that is kind of a key tech point of the KD9 is the full-length visible or max zoom unit. There are a couple of unique things about this unit that I'll highlight here quickly. The first and most important is the fact that it's articulated. You can see this groove right here, which basically separates the forefoot section just a little bit, and what that gives you is just much better range of motion and the ability to kind of flex in the shoe. If you think of something like the LeBron 10, which also featured full-length visible zoom, that was a really comfortable shoe, but it didn't feature much flex throughout the footbed, especially for the average consumer who is much smaller than a player like LeBron James. A couple other features here that are either unique or kind of uncommon when we see these full-length visible zoom setups are just all of the different cutouts that you can see. And those help with a couple things. First of all, just kind of stability, so you're not too like rocking back and forth too much because of the way that zoom can sometimes kind of collapse at the edges, but also more importantly, that helps reduce weight while still giving the cushioning where you need it. Finally, the other difference, and this is something that we don't see too often with full-length zoom, is the fact that it features different lengths of zoom fibers. At the heel, kind of this whole section back here, you've got 16 millimeter fibers, and then this forefoot section has 10 millimeter fibers. And what that does is it kind of gives you a best of both worlds, where you get that great cushioning here at the heel where you really want that as you're kind of landing down on the foot, but then up at the front, you don't need quite as much impact protection, but it is nicer to be a little closer down to the ground where you can get better court feel. And so it combines those two in a pretty practical way for a basketball shoe which is cool to see. Now that kind of goes through the a big overview and kind of some of the tech specs of the KD9. So with all that said, we'll dive now into a close-up view and take a look at the colors, materials, and everything going on with this sneaker. We'll kick things off with a quick look at the box. You've got a black box with a pretty interesting repeating pattern kind of all over. All of the labels are in silver. You've got the KD9 text right there. You've got Kevin Durant on one side, the Nike swoosh on another. At the back of the box, you've got the KD logo. And then finally on the other side, you've got KD's signature. And then right there is the size and information tag for this pair. Getting into the shoe itself, you've got two main sections of the upper. The front half is Flyknit. You've got a mix of black, that clear jade, and then like a Volt colorway. You can see it's kind of got a honeycomb pattern knitted in. One thing that's cool about this implementation of Flyknit is that unlike other Nike basketball shoes that featured Flyknit, this isn't like mixed with glue or anything to help keep it stiffened. This is just Flyknit. It is backed by nylon, which helps just kind of reduce some of the stretchiness of Flyknit that you don't want to see with a basketball shoe, so your foot does stay contained. And also it's a much tighter pattern, like knitting pattern, which will also help just, again, reduce some of that stretchiness that we kind of know and love with Flyknit, especially when it comes to casual shoes or like a running sneaker. The back half of the shoe then features a more traditional combination of materials. You've got nylon kind of as the inner layer, and then you've got a foam with a mesh over top. Nothing too crazy, but it does provide good support and cushioning right there. You can see there's kind of like this seam running along where the two materials meet. I have heard some people have some discomfort there, but you should be able to break that in if you are actually wearing these for basketball. You've got black laces. You can see these black loops coming up to kind of hold the laces. Here at the top, this one, instead of just being the black that we see down there, it features hits of that Volt color. There is no separate tongue on this shoe. It's just a one-piece upper, but like the tongue section up here features this suede kind of tab with, again, it's in that clear jade. And so at the back of that, you've got 9 right there. We'll see if that can focus in because it is the 9th KD shoe. You've got Kevin, and then flipping around to the outside, it says Durant, and then you've got 35, which of course is his number. The swoosh on these is in clear jade, and then at the heel you've got a black pull tab, and then this kind of plastic or rubbery section that is textured like a DSLR camera body, paying tribute to KD's kind of recent interest in photography. And then you've got the KD logo in Volt. Take a look now at the cushioning system. This does feature full-length max zoom or visible zoom. It's kind of a unique implementation though in that it's an articulated unit, and basically what that means is right here there's this groove and it runs all the way through, and that allows you to basically move the shoe a lot better than you normally can when you've got this full-length visible zoom, which is a problem sometimes for people who are especially smaller and just they don't have kind of the weight to get the good flexibility. Things like the LeBron 10 are a great example of that. But so it's cool to see them kind of taking the really good cushioning of that full-length max zoom, but also giving a way to have some of that better mobility, especially for smaller guys. You can see the zoom fibers are in clear jade. And if we look at the inside of the shoe, you can see the outsole wraps up a lot further to kind of help with some of the side-to-side instability that you would get if you just had that wide-open max zoom unit. Flipping now to the outsole, this is an all-white outsole. It's got a like hexagon traction pattern, which looks pretty unique. From all reports, though, it's actually a very, very good traction pattern on court, which is nice to hear. We won't be able to see it very well, but kind of underneath the traction pattern right in there, you've got the KD logo, and then back here it says Nike Zoom. That about wraps it up for the review of the Nike KD9 in the Birds of Paradise colorway. If you haven't already, let me know in the comments below what you think of this colorway of the KD9. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.